jeez.
Read all about it. Prince Philip is dead. He wasn't the king. Nobody understands why.
Negative.
It's a weird fucking system.
He was a world-famous cuck. What?
He was the cuckiest.
All right. I see it coming, that screaming, and I'm still startled every week. How are you, Greg?
I'm good. I'm a little tired.
I heard the opposite.
What?
Well, just 60 seconds ago when we're chatting and I said, save it for the thing, you were talking about a miserable night of no sleep.
My dog has,
Check.
dog's fingernails are like 3 inches long. And so he gets up at 2:30 in the morning to go take a shit in the middle of the floor and then walks around the house. Click, 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 click. And then I start having negative thoughts. And then I realized we didn't turn the heat off and I'm hot. It was just a whole night. I ended up listening to an audiobook for about 4 hours.
I didn't hear anything after my dog's fingernails, so I hope your night was okay. You look great.
I feel good.
So wait a minute. What? So the negative thoughts related to the dog's fingernails or no?
No, the related thought is somebody's ghosting me, and I don't know if he's mad at me.
Oh.
You ever get that? You ever go through that?
Oh, yeah. No, well, we're too sensitive that way sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in the funny business. The opinions of others matter way too much to us.
Yeah. It's somebody that I kiddingly made fun of a couple times, and I don't know that he maybe heard it and thinks that I'm shitting on him. And
first of all, you're dead naming and pronoun abuse. It's Caitlyn Jenner. It's just she now, Greg, and she's very busy. That she'll get back to you. I wouldn't take it personally.
I just feel like she thinks I want something from her.
Huh.
I want to talk to her about the fact that we grew up in the same town. She grew up in Tarrytown, New York. And, she's got all the records at our local high school for track and field, swimming, everything.
Yeah, which is impressive for a chick.
She's a chick, and yet she has all the men's records in high school. That's how good she was.
That's pretty impressive. Well, I told you the day we were in the writer's room the day Caitlyn debuted, I guess. And we went that day. I mean, this is hours old, maybe the same first hour. And we went to Wikipedia and it talked about how she had won the men's decathlon. All of it changed in Wikipedia. I'm like, well, get ready to have your medal revoked because women weren't allowed in that men's competition.
Yeah.
So.
She got shit because women said she keeps talking about how she's representing women now, but that she never had a period, she never had to go through childbirth, and that she's not really a woman. But I would say she's even more of a woman because she fucking chose it. Like in the same way that if someone converts to Catholicism, they're more Catholic than somebody that was just born into it, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, no, like Jewish friends who have had a wife convert, they're like, their knowledge of my religion just absolutely decimates mine. Like, and it's in every case. I mean, they study like crazy.
If somebody is a Dallas Cowboys fan and they grew up in New York, they're a fucking Dallas Cowboys fan.
No, they're just, they like the winning team, America's team.
Yeah.
We had that. You grew up with Dallas Cowboy fans, right?
Tons of Dallas Cowboy fans in New York.
Of course. Drew Pearson, Staubach.
Roger Staubach.
Yeah.
And then the coach, what was the coach's name? The guy who never made a facial expression.
Feather in his cap. Landry.
Yeah. Not Donald.
No, Tom.
Tom Landry.
Look at me. I don't remember any. I don't even follow sports anymore.
It's because he just popped a riddle in before we started.
Woo!
Hey now.
There we go. You were worried about the show that we didn't have enough content, so we pushed it back a little and we added some things. But I say just wing it, man.
All right, let's just wing it. Let's talk about the shootings in Indiana. I'm kidding. We're not talking about the
I have a lot of
shootings.
material on that. All right.
Pow, pow, pow.
Sorry? Oh, gotcha. Maybe we shouldn't wing it.
Well, it just goes to show you how slow those FedEx guys are.
Our good friend Ben Hoffman, he's living in Nashville now, and he sent me video from his Ring camera, and this was, yesterday, and FedEx guy, you see the truck, and then walks up towards the front porch, and then just tosses, like a basketball almost, like tosses this package that hits really hard in front of his front door, and then walks back to the truck. And all Ben texted after that was, probably not the day to complain to FedEx.
Wait a minute. So he wasn't throwing it over a fence. He just threw it for the sake of throwing it?
Well, like you could have walked around to the stairs, the 2 stairs up to the porch, but there was, a fence around, not a fence, a banister thing with a rail. So he instead of walking over, he tossed it over, but kind of like shot it like a basketball.
Well, we had somebody sent us some olive oil. Don't ask me why somebody sent us fucking olive oil.
This is like dog toenails. I already stopped listening. Go ahead.
And so the FedEx guy took the liberty, because they, look, if it's a padded, lightweight envelope, throw it over the fence. But if it's clearly a bottle of something in a box, he throws it over the fence. Have you ever tried to get olive oil out of your pavers off of concrete? It took 3 weekends of scrubbing the fucking cement with Comet, with Ajax, with fucking baby powder, everything I could think of. I was rubbing on that.
It's weird. It's weird how oil, like just vegetable type oils, can stain concrete. I've been there.
Yeah, everybody has. It's a big thing that people talk about.
Everybody's been there, where virgin olive oil stains your pool pavers. I mean, what a hassle.
How are you doing?
I'm trying to be positive. I'm, we got a crazy summer day coming tomorrow.
It's going to be 80 degrees out.
I think it's even going to be, I read at one point like 84. Anyway, the weird thing is on the beach here, it doesn't get that hot in summer usually. So this is a real outlier day. Today's like 60.
Yeah, right now it's 63. Oh my God, it's going up to 84 degrees tomorrow.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not like, oh, that's nice. It's a little disturbing.
And then me and Aaron, because we haven't been away in over a year. We haven't.
Aaron and I. Yeah, there it is.
Haven't slept anywhere except for our house for the last year. I had a few weekends on the road, but she hasn't. So we're renting a place in Laguna on Monday night. We're just going to head down there Monday morning. It's going to be 75 degrees. We're going to lay out on the beach. I'm going to show off my toned body. My body is a fucking disgrace.
Oh my God. I just started to get back in shape.
You got a gym at your building?
I do. Well, that's the thing. The gym just opened. But you have to sign up.
Walk me through a Mike Gibbons workout. What do you do?
Hold on. You have to sign up. You have to do you have to make all these promises, and questionnaire, sign it, and you have to wear a mask, and maximum 4 people allowed, and all that. Well, the girls just had me there's all these Instagram workouts, right? And so I'm going to get this wrong, but the girl's like, hey, Dad, try this. It's a 30-12-3. Is that what it is? So you're on a treadmill. 12% incline, 30 minutes. What the hell would the 3 be?
The 3 would be the 3 minutes into it that you quit?
It does get really boring. Oh, no, sorry. 3 miles an hour. Duh. So
you're walking.
Right, but my daughter goes, no, watch, you'll be soaking by the end of it. I'm like, I don't think so. Soaking by the end of it.
Wow. But I thought that the new thinking on working out was bursts, interval training, like doing.
Who gives a shit? Really, we should just raise our heart rate no matter how we do it at this point.
Right.
But I'll lift also because I'm trying to fight bad posture. So from what little I know, that means I should be not only stretching the front, but strengthening the back.
Yes.
So those are pulls or rows or whatever the F they call them. But I'll bench also, and then curl. I do the I don't have much attention. It's torture. That 30 minutes. I even had a podcast going. It was torture. Yeah. Mental torture. By the way, physically, you was never, yeah, you have an elevated heart rate and, you're sweating for a reason, but you're never like, oh, I gotta stop for a minute. You're never even close to that.
So you do 30 minutes of cardio and then 30 minutes of weights?
I should back up and say I did it once, the 30, 12, 3. But
so it's 1:30, 12, 3.
But in fair, it's one, yeah. And then I add the word done after all the numbers. No, but in fairness, I only learned about it a week ago. But but I was very sore too. Next day.
Speaking of interval training, you were stuck. You've been very stuck, I think, with your writing. You procrastinate a lot and you put things off. And so I told you. And
but only since the 80s.
I'm following up with you to see if you did the technique. There's a thing called the Pomodoro Technique that has been so, it has changed my productivity so much. And it's, you set your alarm, 25 minutes, you work, phone off, no distractions. You only do the work that you're working on. Then you have 5 minutes. You set the timer again. You do whatever you want. You go walk around. You get on TikTok, do some push-ups, listen to a song, whatever. And then 25 minutes again. And I will go through like 5 cycles of that in a row. And that's it. And that's it. And so now it's 3 hours. And I've gotten more done in those 3 hours than the 8 hours I would sit in my office fucking around. So I explained this to you, and I'm wondering how far along you got with that.
Well, the technique for you, it sounds like it's, so what you do is you masturbate for 5 minutes and then take 20 minutes off. You have to turn off the phone. You can't do it. You wait 20 minutes, then you masturbate again for 5. That's the technique I just heard.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it yet, but listen, we were sharing the books we've downloaded on Audible, and a few of those books that were about procrastination and all that share that technique. That's a very popular technique. Apparently it really works. So wait, you do 20 minutes 5, and then you do that 6 times?
25 and 5.
Oh, you do that 6 times?
Well, I just keep doing it. I try to get to my office by like 9:30, 10.
Oh.
And then I'll stop for lunch at 1 o'clock or whenever. And then sometimes I'll come back and try it more, but I sort of feel like after that I've accomplished a lot, and then I deal with phone calls, weeding emails, shit like that in the afternoon.
Well, some techniques have said like just do 10 minutes and promise yourself a break. But it's the trick of starting. And like, let's say it's that cupboard in the kitchen, my office, that pile of papers. Just do 10 minutes and then you're going to take a break. And, it's kind of like, remember that one year I had the resolution, just 1 push-up a day?
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you get down there and you're like, what am I fucking just going to do 1? I'm down here.
Yeah, right.
It sounds foolproof. It lasted about 6 days. And I did 6 push-ups.
So you're in great shape. Just listening to what you really push yourself.
I think I got it all figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I do.
Well, now you can start playing paddle tennis.
Yeah.
You can go outside again.
When are you and Aaron doing this getaway?
Monday.
It's going to be really nice Monday also.
It's going to be beautiful on Monday. We're going to meet up with her nephew, who is he lives in San Diego, so he's going to come up. We're going to take a hike. And we found this nice little hotel right on the beach. And
you're in Malloy's neck of the woods.
I've got the Blue Chew, one of our sponsors, Blue Chew. I'll bring a couple of those down, throw a move on the wife, see what happens.
Did she know about that detail before agreeing?
She did not, and it reminds me of one of my favorite Curb Your Enthusiasm episodes of all time. Is when Larry David gets some Viagra, and he's dating he asks out the same girl as Rosie O'Donnell asks out. The woman's bisexual.
Yeah.
And they're both competing for her. And then Larry fucks her on Viagra and blows her mind. And she cancels a date with Rosie the next night to go out with Larry again. And then Rosie sees Larry and she accuses him of juicing. She figures it out.
Well, wasn't it also like she had common knowledge that he wouldn't last or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
you're not one of those.
Yeah. I know girls you've slept with. You're not
Yeah.
a 2-time a night guy.
Right.
You're juicing. You're juicing, Larry.
That's funny. That comes out of his mind.
Yeah.
Poor Aaron. Okay. I hope one of you has fun.
I hope I don't get shut down. Imagine that. You take a blue chew and then you get shut down.
Well, then you're back to the Pomodoro technique, and you got to flip it. 5 minutes of productivity,
It's
25
spelled,
taking care of self-soothing.
by the way, it's spelled Palm Adoro.
Nice. All right, what do we got in this podcast?
Well, first of all, let's get to some corrections. We went 2 weeks in a row with no corrections, and since then there's been a tragic downfall. So this guy, we were talking about Nestle as this big American company, but apparently Nestle is a Swiss company that goes back to 1866. They own a bunch of really well-known brands. Ferrero is Italian, and from 1946, much smaller and younger, they appeared to have bought just the U.S. candies branch of Nestle.
That's the confusion, because I know there's Hershey's, and then, Nestle, I guess maybe Nestle bought a candy thing in America. Anyway, go ahead.
But, they were the company that also, started giving formula to women in Africa for free.
Oh, right. No,
and then charging them for it.
That's what I had brought up, yeah.
And then they're also sucking all the water out of the water table in California, where we're in a fucking drought, and most of that water for Nestle comes from California.
Oh.
Yeah. So does
Forget about it.
So does Adirondack water. There's like 3 of the biggest water bottle brands come from California for some reason.
Well, I mean, the Sierras, I imagine that's the source of them.
Here's a guy who's got a correction. David Dravanak. Correction. Mike sometimes thinks the show isn't good. Correction. He is awesome.
Oh.
You are awesome. The show is amazing. My favorite podcast by far.
Dave, why don't you should just play that. You should have Dave record that. That's what you should play when the dog's toenails drive you crazy in the middle of the night and you can't get back to sleep.
I think this may become our new Joanne under corrections.
Dave has a crush on us.
Matt says, Mike said L.A. is in the top 5 most populous cities in the world. Greg said top 3. L.A. has about 4 million people. China has 27 cities with over 4 million each. Not to mention Tokyo, Delhi, Dhaka, Sao Paulo, and others with around 10 million each or more. All right.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, but wait a minute. L.A. isn't 4 million.
Slow down, Matt. No, listen. If you look up the population, this is probably, I'm guessing, of the city of L.A., it's going to be like around 4 million. Do you know the city of Boston is like 600,000 or something?
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. It's only like 10 stadiums or something. But because these are, what's the difference? It's the difference between a city and a city area or an urban area or whatever it's called. So LA County has over 10 million people.
Okay.
So you have to understand, Los Angeles isn't a city. We have to explain this to all the tourists who come here and are looking around like, where is it? And I have to tell them, oh, there is no it. There's nothing fucking here.
Yeah.
Go up to Malibu. You know what Malibu is? It's a road. It's a road that goes by a strip mall. And maybe you'll see a Kardashian in the strip mall getting a juice.
Malibu is the weirdest shaped city or town or whatever the fuck they call it. It is. It's like we went to Boston University, which was the campus was Commonwealth Avenue. The campus didn't go further than 50 yards from Commonwealth Avenue, and it ran for about a mile and a half.
And Malibu is not Los Angeles City. I'm right now sitting in Santa Monica. I'm not in Los Angeles City. Either is Culver, either is Beverly Hills, the list West Hollywood, the list goes on and on and on. None of those are counted in Los Angeles, but they're all LA.
Right.
And LA, by the way, it's not even like I'm stretching it where, oh, just count LA like Boston has downtown. This is like checker marked. Like, in other words, between Beverly Hills and Santa Monica, it is LA. Actually, you're what, a half a mile from me right now? You're in L.A., I'm not.
Right, I'm in Venice. Venice is
Venice,
a
right.
city in the county of Los Angeles.
So listen, he still has a point where 10 million doesn't even get us on the world stage of big cities, though.
Really?
I thought LA had more than 10 million, though.
How many does Delhi have? Maybe Chris Denman can pop his head out of that Young Republicans meeting that he's mentoring and give us
India
some
has a
fucking numbers.
lot of populous cities.
Jesus Christ. Unbelievable. All right, this one comes from Tim Hughes. Very simple. Richard Nixon was not impeached. I looked it up.
But we've said that.
And that's correct.
We've said that. Yeah.
Well, I think I said he was impeached but not convicted, so I guess I was wrong. I guess they never actually got to the impeachment procedures.
No, because he bailed. He bailed.
Right. He would have been
By
impeached.
the way, what's going on with what's going on with that impeachment? The second one.
Are they still doing that, or did that fade into the sunset?
I don't know. I haven't really been following.
Isn't it
news.
amazing? It is amazing how much Trump used to be on my mind and how little he is now. Like, if something pops up in my newsfeed about Trump, I glaze over it. I just go to the next story. I don't care. He just seems like a guy who something freakish happened and he was the leader of the free world, and now he's just a guy who lives in Florida who's, trying to hang out with famous people.
I wish. Boy, did you see that new? Whatever. Let's not talk politics. But there's a bunch of the Republican senators organizing their little group.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The language is a little scary.
It's very scary. It's very nativist. It's anti-immigrant. It's pro-white.
The language, and this is not my opinion. This is fact. It's very the language of the South in the 1800s.
Yeah. All right. Somebody read Heather Cox Richardson this morning.
Yep, she's amazing.
All right, now let's get
Actually
to
read
it.
it last night, like you, and when I couldn't sleep.
Let's get to it. Let's do this, and we'll do it in the mail. We got to talk about Khruangbin, but we'll do it.
Yes, we do.
We'll get it when we get to.
Oh, did you get yours this week?
Oh boy. Hey now, Fitzgibbons. First off, love the show. One correction from last week's show in referencing his logo T-shirt. Mike went on to describe ABC stores, which is a chain. They're basically Hawaii's 7-Elevens, and they're like basically my favorite store in the world. Fantastic comparison, Mike, between ABC stores and 7-Elevens. Your audience undoubtedly appreciates the context. A slightly better analogy for Hawaii's 7-Elevens, however, would be the local chain named 7-Eleven Hawaii.
You think it sounds like it would be better, yeah.
So he's basically a small oversight that won't affect my crush on you two, Stephen Mecca.
I've never been to 7-Eleven Hawaii. I didn't even know about him. I will say he's right. The ABC stores are very touristy. They're definitely appealing. When I'm there, like this is what I did. I went in and I was like, do you have, I'm not making any of this up. Do you have any gluten-free like snacks or sandwiches or something like that? Sunblock 50 and vodka and Kahlua. And they had all of it.
Yes.
And then I ran right back over to the hotel. Sophie got her, she's celiac. She got her gluten-free, like very good salad, by the way. And they kind of had everything. And they have gifts to bring home.
Wait, you sat in a hotel room and drank vodka with your daughters?
No. Come on. Brother-in-law George was there. Laura. We make our drinks. We take them down to the pool.
Nice. Very nice.
It's good.
Finally, last week you were talking about believing in God might be a good chance to take because there was some upside and not much downside. That thought was made famous by the mathematician Blaise Pascal, and he called that the ultimate gamble.
I think it was a wager, right? I think Pascal's wager.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And a lot of people wrote in on this because I said it was a Louis C.K. bit, but apparently Louis may have been inspired by Pascal.
Well, it turns out you're both right. Isn't that nice?
Love you, Greg. You are hilarious. Thanks for all the laughs. Mark, no mention of you.
Well. All right. Well, he better watch out Because who's to say I'm not God? And God's
Wow.
talking through me. And maybe, what's this guy's name?
Mark.
Oh, the guy above it's named Christian. I was like, that's too much of a coincidence.
That is.
So, Mark, you better watch it. You better treat everybody's God's creature, supposedly. So watch what you say. You
Yes.
might as well gamble that I might be judging you one day.
You know, that brought down the Beatles, comparing themselves to God, right?
It was not a good move on Lennon's part when he said that.
I
Or
think
to
he
Jesus.
said Jesus.
I think it was Jesus.
Yeah, it was Jesus.
Yeah. Not
he
his
said
dad.
we're
Don't be
bigger than
silly.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So speaking of grass is always greener,
Oh.
you and I have both been involved with a company now for the last month or so. And it's a really amazing, when you think about the internet and the things it can provide you that save time in your life and make the quality of your life better, I have to say, Get Sunday. It's time to get your lawn in shape, and you don't want to do it with chemicals that are going to hurt your pet. You want to grow a lawn that's beautiful and green and specific to where you live. What's the ground soil like? Do you want to use interesting ingredients like seaweed, iron, and molasses? And let me tell you something. I've been using it, and it's unbelievable. My grass, it's like putting Rogaine on your head. It's just a bag. They give you a little apparatus to hook it onto your hose. It's 15 minutes. You get online, you put in your address, they take a look at your lawn, they evaluate the area that you're in, and they custom send you exactly what you want. All you got to do is go to getsunday.com, put in your home address, and they take care of the rest. How's it going with your mom's lawn? Didn't you get some for her?
It's good. We're we're looking up if we, with this the heat wave that's coming. I don't know if we water more or not, but apparently the lawn is enriched and is more durable. So I'm psyched about that.
Let Sunday take the guesswork out of growing a greener, more beautiful lawn this spring. Visit getsunday.com/papers. Get $20 off your custom lawn plan at checkout. That's $20 off your custom plan at getsunday.com/papers. Support the sponsors. Support the podcast. Let them know you care. Our song this week comes from Gary Caprera, who used his daughters
It was pretty
to do
cool.
harmony. Yeah. Kind of feel good.
Yeah, that was nice.
And our logo, which
Poor
I
kids.
fucking love, is from Mr. Gary. I am tattooing Mike Gibbons.
Yeah, that's a little,
Would you say your body looks like that?
No. I don't see a swastika on there, so no. That was one of my dumb stand-up jokes that I view my body as a temple, not because it's, anything great, just because there's swastikas scrawled all over it. That one gets mixed reactions.
Yeah, as do most of your jokes.
Well, wait a second.
I don't mean in a bad way. I mean,
kidding.
they're all very edgy.
Well, that's the sweet spot. Yeah.
They're all very edgy. You find the edge.
Oh, they're provocative maybe to morons.
It's like when you see one of those old timers hanging 10 on a longboard. That's where you are. You're right at the edge, right at the front edge, toes hanging over.
Awkwardly, like flailing as I'm about to fall.
That's right.
It's a good analogy.
This weekend, Mike can't hang out. I'm going to be in Philadelphia at my second favorite club in the country, Helium Comedy Club, April 22nd through the 24th. And then next weekend, I also can't hang out. I'm going to be in Kansas City at the Comedy Club on April 29th through May 1st. Tickets for shows at fitzdog.com. Come on out, hang out.
You getting Brickner or Mason out to Philly or what?
Brickner will be there, and then my buddy Alex Gardner from high school, who is a good old friend. Oh, my God, this is so crazy. There's a girl we went to high school with, and her name is Ashley Briggs.
Should you be saying that here? Is she a public figure?
No.
Thank God no one listens to this. Okay, tell us about Miss Briggs.
But anyway, she was this picturesque wasp in high school. Blonde hair, blue eyes, sweater over the shoulders, big money. And so I don't know why, but we were just catching up on kids we went to school with. And she ended up leaving and going to Choate to finish out, which is like the private school of private schools, a boarding school.
Yeah, no, and they had a huge drug scandal. We used to play sports against them. By the way, something's clicking on you. Not that I'm an engineer.
Oh, really?
You have an audio issue.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Is it maybe your harmonica holder that you're wearing around your neck?
It's this stupid sweatshirt. It has like a zipper on it.
There you go.
All right, is that better? So anyway, went to Choate, went to Penn, met a guy, married him. His grandfather is John Updike, and it talked about her cotillion and coming out in 3 different places she came out.
Oh, probably her cotillion.
Her cotillion, and I'm obsessed because I always liked her. She was a really nice girl, but it's this world that I can't even wrap my head around. You know, the number of country clubs that are joined and the private schools that the kids are sent to. And is it Aspen or is it Telluride? Is it Nantucket or is it the Vineyard? I need to know the details.
But is your image of her like young, cute as a button because that's what you have in your head of her?
No, I saw a picture of her more recently. Still very pretty, but you cannot find a photo of her where she's not wearing pearls.
Oh, all right. Nice.
Yeah.
Do you know, I don't know a comedian. I think it was a comedian who talked about this, but they talked about when they were really young, all of a sudden they saw like Shirley Temple movies and, you know, just adorable. And the parents then would find, and so the kid, the guy telling this says, so as a kid, I fell in love with Shirley Temple, like, you know, in the 90s or whenever I was watching, and I was just obsessed with her. And then I heard Shirley Temple was going to be, my parents said she's going to come to our local mall because she has a book and it's a book signing. And he goes, I lost my mind. I didn't sleep for the 2 days before. We go to the mall and there's this fucking horrific looking old woman. And he goes, it scarred me for life. It's kind of like high school reunions. You're like, you go back and you're like, oh my God, Jennifer's going to be there. And you're like, oh, Jennifer's as old as I am.
Yeah. Well, you think about that with like, you know, if you like, could I sleep with Bo Derek today? And then I could go to my grave knowing I had sex with Bo Derek. Nobody needs to know it was in 2021. I wonder what she looks like now. I bet she still looks good.
Well, I told you, so my first job out of college, I got a job for this high-end PR company. Anyway,
Wave Hill in the Bronx.
No, that's when I said that job got me that job. But you're right, I was very idealistic. And so anyway, I got a job. I guess one interesting thing, I'll make it a little longer. So I'm in an interview. I'm fresh out of college, you know, and the guy, he's a very big PR guy. So I definitely got a hookup. And so I went in there, and this is really important. In fact, when I went in, his name was John Scanlon. The 2 biggest PR guys in New York were Howard Rubenstein and John Scanlon. When Donald and Ivana divorced, Rubenstein took Trump, and Scanlon, the guy I was in with, took Ivana. So when I walk in, his assistant opens the door crack and sees he's a speakerphone guy all the time, right? And she's like, oh, sorry, because he's on speakerphone with Ivana. Is it Ivanka or Ivana? I forget Trump's wife.
I think it's Ivanka.
Let's go with Ivanka. So, no, it's Ivana, because it's Ivana divorce was the post headline. So the assistant is like apologetic, and he's like, and he waves us in. So now I'm sitting in this guy's office, and no joke, what he was yelling was, she's like, no, I don't want to go to brunch Sunday. He's like, you're going to fucking brunch, Ivana. And it's like, what? He's like, I've lined it up. He's like, Liz Smith from the Daily News is going to be there, and it's all women, and you're sad. You're sad, Ivana, at Trump. He's like, it's a sad brunch. He's like, you're a victim. And he's just screaming it. She's like, okay, Johnny, okay. So... And I'm just sitting there like, what have I just? And as I say this, by the way, I bet you could look up that sad brunch like that. Like it was like the week this shit was going down, their divorce. So anyway, he hangs up the phone and he's like, all right, who are you? And so I tell him who I am. He's like, right. So anyway, we start talking, and this was totally through a hookup. So like someone got me in there, a friend of my dad's or whatever. So he then goes, okay, what do you think about Imelda Marcos? And I'm like, I'm like, fuck. This is minute 1 of my first interview out of college. I'm like, I got Clash, Public Enemy on the brain. I'm idealistic. Howard Zinn was one of my professors. And I'm like, am I my first syllables going to sell out? Because clearly she's hired public relations because she's about to go on trial in New York, right? And I guess to my credit, I'd go, honest answer? And he's like, that's interesting response. He's like, yeah, honest answer. I'm like, I think she's terrible. And then I listed some things, and he's like, that's very honest of you and good. We've just been retained by the Aquino government to maintain Imelda Marcos's poor image in the American media.
Nice.
And I'm like, whoa. So I spent this is coming around to Bo Derek. I spent 6 months every single day in the trial. I came up with Shoe of the Day, which Newsweek did. They took a picture of Imelda Marcos's shoes every single day. For the kids out there who don't know, I think in her closet in the Philippines, they found 6,000 pairs of shoes or whatever. The excess, as leaders of the Philippines, were stealing so much money that, just like Saudi Arabia,
while people
wherever.
were starving in the streets. Yeah.
Exactly. So anyway, worked with all the legends. Oh my God, look at her. Chris just put a picture of her up. She looks pretty good. So I don't think I've told this story. I might have told this story on the podcast. I'm in the courtroom every day for Imelda Marcos, and there's all these old timers. And these people are retired New Yorkers, and this is their hobby. They even have a name for themselves, the court jester, whatever it was, some pun probably. But they go to all the famous trials in downtown New York. So anyway, I'm now friends with all these old people. I bring in donuts and stuff like that every day. So all of a sudden, there's murmurs in the courtroom like crazy. And so it was Imelda Marcos, and Adnan Khashoggi was her co-defendant. And Jerry Spence, the big lawyer with the 10-gallon hat from Wyoming.
Sure.
Right. So it was like a circus. So all of a sudden the circus got even more circusy. Murmurs. And there's Bo Derek walking down the aisle, and with this friend who had an impossible body and was hanging out of her top. And everyone's like, oh my God. And then all the old timers start laughing, and they're like, today's going to be a doozy. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, oh, this is the oldest trick in the book. Yeah, I think I have told this story. Anyway, when the most damaging evidence is going to be presented, that's when the defense has their flashiest, most distracting friends come to court that day. And he goes, and sure enough, it was the craziest, most damning evidence. And not one juror heard a word of it. Everyone was just staring at Bo Derek and her impossible friend. And not only the jurors, but every headline the next day was all about Bo Derek was in court. No print was given to the damaging evidence.
No shit.
Yep. And she was old then, and this was 90-ish or whatever, 90, yeah, and she was a smoke show.
Did I tell you that one of my dad's best friends is representing Trump now in this trial that New York State is prosecuting?
Wow.
One of my dad's best friends is a guy named Ron Fischetti, who represented John Gotti for, however many years, decades, and other mobsters. He was like a mobster lawyer.
Well, there you go.
And so Trump hired him to defend him.
Not a good look.
No, not a good look. So, but I mean, I another time I'll tell you stories. I have so many stories. My dad used to, when he would do summation, my dad was in the front row every time. This guy was a master showman in court.
Wow.
He wasn't the guy that did the research and put the case together. He was the guy that he was the lawyer throughout. He oversaw everything, but his expertise was getting up in front of the jury and whipping them into a frenzy. He was unbelievable.
His summation was usually the same. It was, ladies and gentlemen of the court, look at my client. I want you to take a good look at him. He's looking at you, and he knows where you live. That's the end of my argument.
My client cares about you. Like Mrs. Robinson, he knows about your daughter and her troubles at George Washington University.
Yeah. Wait, did I ever tell you this is true? you had hooked me up with Ray Romano right in New York when I was at HBO, and then he got his sitcom, and I came out here, and HBO anyway assigned me to follow Ray around and kind of do like a funny documentary about him. Anyway, as I'm hanging out with Ray, we became, we got to know each other. And so I'd say the second or third year of his sitcom, which was starting to be a hit, only in its like the first season, it was, I don't know if it's coming back. Anyway, so Ray's now a celebrity. And I remember talking to him. He's like, I had jury duty. And so I'm down on jury duty, and it's this heavy case, and it's gang related. And like this guy has teardrop tattoos and shit, and he's like standing there in the court. And then the judge is asked, like, do you have any reason to that you feel you should be excused when they're doing, the interview, it's the screening of the jurors. And he's like, he knows who I am. It was, and he did it in the most Ray Romano way. It was so perfect.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, totally true. That's all he said. 'Cause he's like, he didn't want to say more than that, but he's like, he's innocent.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, I think we should get to the news. It's 40 minutes in.
Oh, are we doing that this week? I didn't know. Wait, hold on. All right. What do we got?
Front page.
Extra! Extra! Read all about it! Extra!
Heavy metal guitarist is the first U.S. Capitol rioter to plead guilty. All right. Heavy metal guitarist with ties to the Oath Keepers pleaded guilty Friday to 2 crimes related to the U.S. Capitol insurrection, making him the first rioter to do so. John Ryan Schaefer pleaded guilty to obstruction of an official proceeding and entering a building with a dangerous weapon. He admitted to carrying bear spray into the Capitol complex during the formal certification of the Electoral College votes. 100 days after the January 6th attack, Schaefer is now the first pro-Trump rioter to plead guilty and admit his crimes. Prosecutor. He's going to be sentenced, or they're recommending 3.5 to 4.5 years in prison based on how fruitful his cooperation is with the government.
I think the guy's pleading guilty because, what's more metal than fucking raiding a government building and then saying, yeah, I did it. I fucking did it. Yeah, my dog has herpes. Yeah, I abandoned my wife. Yeah, I had a gangbang. I'm fucking metal.
All I know is I read this, right? And it's like, you could be like, what a scumbag, or, depending, of course, on your political views too. But I kind of was like, I got to man up. The 3 names, heavy metal guitarist, carries bear spray. I feel like a girl over here just reading about a man. And I thought, I need 3 names. So I'm going to run some by you. What about Mike Cobb Gibbons?
Cobb's good. Yeah.
Right?
Well, because Ty Cobb was the biggest manly racist in the South.
No, but then there's like, what's his name? Blank Lee Cobb. It's a very, I don't know. There's Southern connotations to it, but Sandbelt Mike Gibbons.
Nice.
It's kind of like Hacksaw, but I went with Sandbelt. Mike Gibbons, the honey badger hunter. I'm going to work on that one. I don't think that one's there yet.
Yeah.
That's like the dog catcher, the dog bounty hunter. Dog catcher.
Yeah, I think all of these involve carrying a gun. You have to have a gun, and it's got to be a handgun that's as powerful as a rifle.
Oh, yeah. It's very Raising Arizona.
Yeah, I'm... who was telling me
Saw
about
it off to the point where you hold it with one hand.
My friend, Tom Wright, who's an actor who's on a new show. I can't remember the name of it. But he was telling me the other night about he was doing a movie and they had to do gun training for him, so they sent him out to the desert for like 4 days. And he said he fired 1,200 rounds. And they just everything, every type of shooting, every type of gun. And he was like so fucking jacked up to come back to LA and get a gun. And then his friend is a lawyer, and he's like, okay, you can have a gun, but realize that 80% of the people that die from a gun that's owned by a homeowner is the homeowner or his family. And also realize if you shoot somebody, Los Angeles has, I think, the tightest gun laws in the country. If you shoot somebody breaks into your house, they come in, You shoot them. He goes, you better have $20,000 because that's the minimum you're going to pay to get yourself out of that situation. They can sue you for shooting them in your own house.
So I have a friend. He's a conspiracy theorist. I brought him up a lot of times on this. He's very funny, but he's like, you get a gun yet? This is when, the pandemic was starting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. I'm like, you? He's like, oh yeah. He's like, I got it last year. I'm like, okay. And this is when he was feeding me all the Black Lives Matters, like, they're killing the mayor tonight. They're going up to his house. He's like, I got like all the intel. Anyway, he's wildly amusing. He goes, so I told that to him. I'm like, I go, even if the intruder's in your house, I mean, this isn't Texas. Like, you get in a lot of trouble if you shoot him. And he was so frustrated with me. He's like, duh, you fucking drag him outside. Like, that's 101. What are you talking about? He's like, everyone who has a gun knows that.
Yeah. Right.
And
if you kill him, it's fine. If you wound
it was
him,
dragging him in the house. That's what
really?
it was.
Oh.
Yeah. I think it was because if a guy's banging on your door and he's going to enter your house and you're like, don't, and you shoot him, you have to drag him in your house. He said. Now, by the way, I am not debating whether this is right or wrong. What is fact, all the correctors out there, is this is what he then told me. Because I also said, bear spray, a big can of bear spray is like, I think almost as effective in many ways. And you won't go to jail.
I would imagine a taser would be effective as well, right? A taser and a baseball bat.
Well, no, I heard bats are the worst.
Why?
Bats get turned on you more than anything.
I got a bat right by my front door.
Oh, boy. Oh, good. So they can grab it on the way in? Seems like it should be under your bed, no?
Yeah, and it's got a donut on it so they can warm up first, loosen up the muscles.
Meanwhile, we went camping in the Sierras, and one of the guys brought bear spray, and it's illegal. So they sell it in California, but it's illegal at least in the one of the national parks. The Sierras are divided into a couple, but I think in the Sierras. Yeah, the high Sierras. Yeah. So we had a ranger tell us that, and he confiscated it.
Let's get to...
What are we going?
A story you're not going to believe. I'm going to tell you the story. You guess the state.
All right.
Somebody wants to marry their own adult offspring and is suing to overturn laws barring the incestuous practice, calling it a matter of, quote, individual autonomy. The pining parent seeks to remain anonymous because the request is, quote, an action that a large segment of society views as morally, socially, and biologically repugnant, according to court papers.
Said Woody A.
Right. So guess the state.
Well, I see it here. I want to play fair.
Right. You're not going to believe this. Remember I said I was getting ghosted by somebody?
They just contacted you?
They just texted me back.
Greg, you're going to sleep like a baby this afternoon.
I feel so good. I really do. That made me feel so good.
Look at that.
Unless
it says, please lose this number. Isn't that amazing, by the way, how much can hinge on that?
Yeah, I know. And that's what they say about 90% of the time when you think that there's something going on with somebody. It's not. It's just not. It's all in your head.
Yeah, the good news is, I think the good news is you'd be surprised how little people are thinking about you.
Exactly. Right. No,
Yeah.
and by extension, I often remind myself, because I read this, there was like a TikTok message from somebody, Christopher Hitchens or somebody horrible, and they were like, you're going to die. Remind yourself constantly that you're going to die.
Here
and
comes
you will
my sleepless night.
It really works. It makes me take shit. When I start getting caught up in, things that I think are so important, you just think about that, and it just kind of relaxes you.
Oh, boy. Can you paraphrase, at least give us the, sorry, man, was out of town? What's the excuse?
This is going to really make you laugh, this is a guy who moved to Texas, and I sent him a Khruangbin song called Texas Sun. And
well, of course.
I said, here's your new theme song. It's with Leon Bridges. Beautiful. And he wrote back, love it. It's beautiful. Miss you, man. When are you visiting Austin?
Ooh. So, finally, Brian Holtzman returns your text.
It's not Joe Rogan, by the way. Everybody's going to think it's Joe Rogan.
Of course, that's what I think it is.
No, it wasn't. No, Joe
That song's, so that song has been out a while. We'll get to Khruangbin, I guess, in a little bit, but it's Leon Bridges, is the voice on there. So I, being turned on to Khruangbin, or however you pronounce them, I actually didn't put that together for a few days. That I had already enjoyed them with Leon Bridges.
Yeah,
anyway.
It's a 4-track album called Texas Sun. We'll get to it. All right, so anyway, and then I read this story, and then I noticed at the end it was from Fox News, and I realized, oh, this is them spinning like, well, if you let gay people get married, next thing you know, dogs, parents and their kids. That's all this story is. There's nobody who's named. There's no details. It's the most generic story about a concept.
Right, and it's also like, oh, you New Yorkers who judge all the red states with their incest, guess what? You got some too.
Right. Normally, Mike, this is where we do the horoscope. But you have a special treat for us.
All right, so I was over. Wait, Olivia, are you still here? Livy. Wait, quick story about guns. So I know it sounds weird, me checking if my daughter's here. So she's spending time over at my ex's, and she's watching the dogs, right? And she felt a little unsafe about being over there sometimes, and people are taking turns watching the dogs. Anyway.
Wait, why is she unsafe?
No, she just feels because no one's there. Sophie and Liz went to Michigan to look at the school.
Oh, got it.
So anyway, she comes down the stairs and has packed a few things and comes down with a rifle. Right down my stairs here in the apartment. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? So we once, when we went camping or whatever, or actually more like glamping, we got a house though, but up in the Sierras, I bought a BB gun and I bought little targets because I thought that would be fun. These kids are very much in the city. So anyway, we have a BB gun that's a rifle, but she's coming downstairs. I'm like, what? I go, wait a minute, what are you doing? I go, you can't walk out. You can't even walk out this door with that.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? And then I'm like, well, at least put in a hoodie. So now we look like it looks like we're going to go assassinate JFK. We got this rifle wrapped in a hoodie. and I'm like, but I go, also, Olivia, I go, if anyone did have a gun, this is the guaranteed way. Like, you weren't going to get shot before.
Yeah.
But now you're going to be holding, by the way, a useless rifle.
Yeah.
That if everything went well, you might hurt one of his eyes.
Yeah.
Or her eyes, to be fair. Anyway, yeah. So I had gun
hilarious.
experience this week. Yeah.
I got, Gail, our friend Gail. She's from Texas. And so for my 50th birthday, she bought me a BB gun because I told her I'd never had a gun. And so I'm in the backyard with my nephew, who was almost a Navy SEAL, and a hardcore guy from South Africa. So we're in the backyard, and we put on War Pigs by Black Sabbath, and we're throwing a tin can in the air and trying to shoot it with the BB gun. And we're laughing, and then we shoot each other in the ass like it's a pump gun.
Yeah.
And we played chicken. You went one pump, shoot him in the ass. Then he shoots you with one pump. Then you do 2 pumps. I got up to 3 pumps. Dude, I had a black and blue welt on my ass. And anyway.
Almost took out your hemorrhoid.
So day goes by, and then I get a text from my next door neighbor, Danny Comden. And he's like, do you by any chance have a BB gun? And with a photo of his child's window shot out.
I was going to tell you, the throwing cans is the most insane thing I've ever heard.
So I went next door.
And just laughing at every miss as a BB flies through the air.
So I go over there and I bring the gun. He's got 2 sons, but he's also got a house out in Ojai where he's got like a lot of land. And I go, here, man, you take this gun. I'm 55. I'm clearly not responsible enough to have a BB gun at this point.
Now shots are coming at you from the child's bedroom window.
10 pumps. Problem
solved. Okay, back to the birthday. Instead of horoscopes, you had come over my house once, and there was this birthday book sitting there, and It's this birthday book right here, and it's called The Secret Language of Birthdays, and it's huge. It's like a coffee table book, and it has a bunch of stuff, but one big 400-page chapter or whatever is every day of the year is covered and written about. And it's crazily, in some cases, accurate. And so, wait, we can read ours, but there was a member of your family we went to read, and it was, like, ours were pretty positive, I remember, and it was so negative but accurate, and it blew your mind.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right, I'll go. Let's see if I can find the month of April. Here we go. Yours, of course, April 6th. Kidding. Okay, here it is. Those born on April 5 have the ability to succeed in life and the tenacity to hang in there when they only get to the middle.
Shut up.
I added that last part. Possessed of star quality, they present a composed and self-confident image without appearing overly egotistical. In like manner, they themselves are often taken up with the appearance of things rather than examining them deeply. Most often, they pursue one profession, one set of principles, one stream of thought right through life. April 5 people seek appreciation as those with star quality do, but survive without it.
Whoa, Jesus. They just described my half-empty Friday Night Late show back in Raleigh.
Get ready, Philly. This guy's coming. He kind of needs your approval, but he's all right without it. They survive without it, persisting in endeavors with whether others are paying heed or not. No matter what is going on around them, they can bring tremendous powers of concentration to bear on the matter at hand. Maybe with the Pomodoro effect or whatever it's called.
ADD. No, I'm a hyper-focuser when I am focused.
It is hard to imagine calling people with this kind of star quality modest, but in fact, April 5 people are. They are most comfortable playing the part of an unassuming regular guy or girl. Of course, for those born on this day who are exceptionally gifted, this is consummate play acting. Yet April 5 people do not react well to being analyzed, probed, or found out. As far as they are concerned, the part they are playing is what they truly are. They do not want anyone to dig any deeper.
Wow.
All right. So anyway, it goes on, by the way.
That's fucking dead on. I'm always conflicted between, like, being, an entertainer who's trying to get social media following and people to show up to your shows and listen to your podcast, but at the same time, I shun it. I can't stand it. Like, I think I'm very deferential. I'm not like an alpha at a party, right?
No, you're not at all. No, I mean, you do walk in and raise your hands and yell that you're here, but other than that, you calm right down.
It's all about the entrance. Then you just fucking chill out and you let somebody else tell the story.
I'm not going to read the whole thing, but that's only half. There's 4 giant paragraphs. But anyway, a little more. Emotionally, those born on this day can be very difficult to reach. Sitting down and talking things out may be something they disdain, kind of like this podcast. Those involved in relationships with April 5 people generally find that they are expected to be understanding at all times. Since April 5 people attract admirers like flies, a lot of understanding may be required. All right.
Do you agree with all this?
I do agree with this. Okay. They will not compromise their beliefs, even if it means being punished financially for it. Money is not paramount to them anyway. More important is that they be successful in implementing their plans and that their ideals not be threatened. All right. Let's see. When locked into an endeavor or activity, April 5 people often do not know when to quit, unaware that others are getting bored or indifferent and may wish to move on to something else.
No, that's not me. That's not me.
In the same way, some born on this day continue in their principal occupation too long. Oh.
There's a hint.
Your strengths: consistent, hardworking, successful. Weaknesses: repetitive, overindulgent, emotionally blocked. Gregory.
Do you think I'm emotionally blocked?
No, but I think you've worked on it a lot.
Yeah.
You'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to hear a little of me?
April 11th. What's going on for April 11th, people?
This is a little embarrassing how positive it is. All right. Those born on April 11th do not have the overwhelming need to be a star, like many of the people born in the Aries 2 period. When they are at the center of action, it is generally due to their usefulness rather than ambition. What they are most comfortable with is being part of a decision-making team in which they often play a dominant role. It is ideas which most excite and stimulate April 11th people, not glory or prestige.
Wait a minute. Is that so? You and I
Says
all right.
me from a closet.
Yeah, we're partners, and you're the guy in the closet.
Yeah, but you're the guy going to Philly. I don't need that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm somehow content with being massively unemployed. April 11th people are less concerned with developing a sparkling personality than with honing a message. They do not care for the high-blown verbiage that usually hides a rather mediocre or even non-existent idea. Those born on this day like to know what others think straight out without subterfuge. This does not mean that they themselves are incapable of subtlety or make poor diplomats. Actually, as mediators, blah, blah, blah. Given such talents, April 11 people are, of course, psychologically astute, but also have the knack of finding common ground for agreement, blah, blah, blah.
I would say that's one of your strengths. You're definitely a peacemaker, a negotiator. Find the middle ground.
Yeah, some of it's because I'm chicken shit, and I want to please, and I don't like confrontation unless cornered. Then I actually like it, which is weird. But it's because I've given up. Like this is done, and I'm going to tell you why it's done. You know what I mean? That's not cool. All right, strengths: decisive, diplomatic, sagacious. Weaknesses: does not know what sagacious means. No, weaknesses: insensitive, resistant. Oh yeah. Oh no, it does say things about me being a little not as sensitive to like how I'm affecting other people. It does say something like that. All right, but. Get this. So how about this? Next week, someone write a letter and tell us to read their day. And we'll read their day, or we'll come up with some. I did think of one thing. I read comments, which I'm going to read in a second, in Amazon of reviews. But one person goes, a fun thing to do is read someone 3 without them telling you what their birthday is. Or no, I forget what it is, but you basically read 3. And the person has to guess, they'll tell you their birthday. You then read 3. One of them is that day.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we do next week? All right, write us at fitzdogradio@gmail.com. Let us know what your birthday is and that you're free next Saturday at, let's say, 11 a.m. Pacific Coast time.
Oh, boy.
And you will join us on the Zoom call and be on the show, and we will play this game with you. How about that?
I like that. Okay. All right. I stole 3 comments off Amazon. Okay. 1 star, disappointing interpretation. I was extremely displeased with the amount of negativity surrounding certain days and don't believe the content to be any foundation upon which a person develops an opinion of knowledge or direct communication. All right, fine. So I'm telling you, I've never seen a horoscope that kind of had the balls, because some of them, like the one you and I talked about of someone you knew, was so negative. Okay. This guy's 1-star review. The title of his review is Date of Birth, July 26th. Not for you! ! I am very disappointed with what it says for my birthday. My coworker kept raving about how amazing this book is, so I bought it. If you're born on July 26th, don't buy this book. I can only assume that someone born on my birthday hurt the author in some form, and this is how they decided to take revenge. Okay, here's the last one. This is perfect because of the irony. What a silly book. 1-star review. I'm by nature very skeptical and don't believe in the pseudoscience of astrology, but a recommendation and reviews on the site persuaded me to buy this book, if only for the entertainment value. I thought it might be a fun book to share with others, and we looked up our birthdays. It has been completely off for every person I've looked up. I'm described as very confrontational, for example, Well, if any trait describes me, it's that I can't bear to confront people, says the one-star rave not rave, but rage that's going on.
That's hilarious.
In life, I'm a complete wimp in that way. I was also said to be adventure-seeking, and that's the opposite of my personality type. Anyway.
All right,
It's
so
funny.
when you whoever plays next week, what's the prize going to be if they guess correctly?
Yeah, maybe tickets to Philly. I don't know.
Oh yeah, maybe we should just have because Philly will be over by then. Kansas City. If you're from Kansas City, you should play this game, and I will give you 4 tickets to the show if you get it correct.
All right,
And if you're from outside Kansas City, I'll give you a Greg Fitzsimmons pin. I'll mail it to you.
Sadly, one of their qualities is not showing up to engagements, so good
Right.
luck getting them. Hey, Denman, why don't you type your birthday in this Google Doc we got going, and let me look up your birthday.
Yeah, why don't you do it next week since we've spent 25 minutes on this book.
There's only 363 left. You sure you don't want me to go through them? All right, we're going to do Denman's another time.
Let's get to
It says that about him.
time for some entertainment.
Oh, boy.
Usher
I like this story.
getting flack on Twitter for allegedly using fake money with his own name and face on it at a strip club. Dubbed Ush Bucks by one wag on the social media site, the cash in denominations of $100, $20, and $1 was previously seen on Usher's other social media channels, stuffed in a see-through suitcase on April 3rd. The story began with a woman going by B Love on Instagram who posted pics of the money to her private account Monday. So he was paying for lap dances with money. So this is like the new Bitcoin. This could be traded like Bitcoin soon.
I thought, all right, what I thought, because I didn't read the story that carefully, was he's just giving, remember like the Goofy money we had at Disney?
That was we were down in Orlando, and we
In the
drank all
90s.
night. We ran out of money. We'd gone to Disneyland that day, and Billy Clark looked in his wallet. We were broke, and it was last call. And Billy looks in his wallet, and he goes to the guy. He goes, "You guys, you don't take Disney bucks, do you?" Which is
He's
the
like,
Disney
would you
currency.
take this like 20 with Goofy's face on it?
And he said yes. And
I was like, yeah.
We were fucking jumping up and down. We were
It was
so
amazing.
because we weren't quite ready to drive completely DUI, and this let us get right over the top.
It was like a hotel, which was, I guess, on the compound of Disney somewhere or whatever. And so that's why they took it. But I thought this was like, because technically you don't have to pay. Those are tips. If you're in a strip club, like it's not like you're trying to get a burger or a service that is charging you.
Right.
So I thought Usher was like, yeah, you know what? A piece of paper with my face on it's good enough.
That's fantastic.
But now if there's some plan here to give them value of some, that's interesting.
I mean, who knows? Maybe you can sell those bucks on eBay for more than the denomination that it says on it.
So I think a bunch of listeners are probably thinking this ties into the story. I did read some headlines this week about Bitcoin, which comes out with money like Elon Musk's face is on some. Like, so I don't even know how to talk about this story. Maybe we'll do
that
it
those
next
like
week.
G whatever? Is that like those encrypted ownership of memes?
Yeah, and if you're this is not the way to state it, but if you're a more valuable person, your currency is going to be more valuable.
Wow.
No, I know. We should you know what? We'll do that next week. We have a lot
Okay.
to do next week. And as
Lot
an
to do
Aries,
next
I
week.
think I can get it done.
What were you saying about a tell?
Oh, so in terms of a strip club and tipping a stripper story. So I'm working with a tell very similar to Ray Romano, where I had the distinct benefit where you would call up your personal friend who I had been assigned to produce and do stuff with. And you would just tell them I was okay because like this is a tell in the 90s. This is Ray Romano who'd already had like a nervous breakdown. Should I be saying that? I think that's public. Like, you know, and they weren't stars then at all. And so you would call and say, this guy gets it, don't worry. So it avoided that awkward dance. Listen, I'm going to be awkward. They're awkward. They're comedians. And they think I'm going to take their image and fucking ruin it or do whatever. So you would give me these shortcuts, which were amazing. And it's really, by the way, I have to attribute a lot of my success at HBO to you.
Oh, no. Well, that's nice. Yeah.
No, oh, yeah. You know, I tell a lot of people that. I don't think I've ever told you that. It only backfired once, which was my boss comes in and HBO had announced they're changing their slogan from, I forget what it is, but it came out, it's not TV, it's HBO. That's what they landed on.
Yeah.
But the big thing was changing. They're going to look for this, and they hired like the most expensive fucking research and ad agencies. And my boss, Chris, you remember him from New Zealand.
Yeah.
He goes, mate, I can't do a New Zealand accent, but he's like, I want to beat these fuckers. I want to beat, I on-air promos. We're creative. We're going to find the new slogan. So we're trying for a while and it's really hard. And he goes, Gibbons, you're tied into all those crazy comedians downtown. Get some of the craziest. I'm like, you want the craziest? He's like, yeah. So I call you. So the door open. This is 1990. Let's call it 5. My New Zealand boss then, I'm like, yeah, I got 2 comedians in the room. You asked for me to go outside the box. They open the door and there's Jim Gaffigan and what's his name from
Todd
The Wrestler
Barry.
and Todd Barry are sitting at a conference room, and this is not early 1990s Todd Barry and Jim Gaffigan. And I'm like, here they are. He introduces them. Could not have been more awkward. I mean, picture those two, right?
Yeah.
And then they're like, the assignment was just write all day. I don't give a shit where you go. You can go get drunk. You can go get coffee. But at the end of the day, can you have 2 or 3 pages of slogans? So anyway, they do that. They leave. They thank me profusely because they're just, begging for sets at the cellar at that point. So anyway, the next day, my New Zealand boss goes, Gibbons, yeah, get in here. He's like, so listen, I asked you to go out of the box. He's like, so I'm going to own that. Not this far outside the box. He holds them up. He's like, every single one unusable. I can't even pitch them.
That's a great story, but I think you may have told it last week.
No.
I think you did. I think you might have told a shorter version of that last week.
I'm officially losing it then. Back to the Attell story, which is very short. I had given him my HBO business card earlier that day. We wind up in a strip club that night. All of a sudden, this woman we're sitting near the stage, and all of a sudden this woman comes up to me and her leg is very close to my face, and in her garter I see my business card. Like in her stockings on her leg, like where she tucks her cash and everything.
Yeah.
My business card is in there. Attell had given that to her. Yeah.
Did she call?
No. That would be a better ending if I wanted to lie and make up like the next day. All of a sudden, I get a call from some woman. But no. But I saw it. But that's what he had given her, and he didn't tell me at all. Like it was not going to be found out.
I just got a note from Chris Denman that a comedy club manager from a club that I'm going to this weekend got his car stolen his first weekend in St. Louis outside a strip club while him and Attell were inside. I remember hearing that story.
Wow.
He was like a manager that was training in St. Louis or something, and they sent him out.
All right. Sorry for listeners who had to endure 2 of those Gaffigan and Todd Barry
I think
stories.
you did. Maybe you just told it off air. Chris, do you remember if Mike told that story? Write it into the doc.
He doesn't listen to this podcast.
I don't think he does. He wrote, did not mention to my recollection. Okay. There we go. And he remembers everything.
Typical June 12th guy, conditionalizing it to my recollection. He just wants to cover his bases. He doesn't want to get blamed. That's a June 12th guy for you.
All right. So also in entertainment, we generally review things that we've been watching. If you want to feel a little white guilt, there's a show called Exterminate All the Brutes. And it is on HBO Max, and it is an exploration of the root of white supremacy. And when I say supremacy, I mean in the new woke version of white supremacy, which is, Western
Dominance?
European white men colonizing. And it's fucking brutal. It's brutal. You know, I think it's important to watch it.
I heard it's rough, yeah.
Yeah, it's important to watch it, but be prepared.
Yep.
Especially since I'm already like, I'm listening to, I just got the Serial. You listen to the podcast Serial, right?
Yeah, I mean, I listened to season 1 where it was is this guy in jail guilty? 12 episodes later. Yep, he is.
Yeah, right.
Next week, it's John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah.
Yep, he is.
Well, this one's kind of interesting.
And I'm in love with him. Don't forget that part.
The last season is about white parents trying to gentrify schools, and it's another thing where you feel white guilt. Like,
wait, it's not about Texas. Is it about Dallas?
New York.
Holy shit! There's a story in Dallas. Oh, it is so fucking racist. This school, this public school, high school. Anyway, I read a story about that in the New Yorker. Maybe. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, but they go in and, I mean, they talked about public schools in the 70s in Harlem. There was a school that had 1,200 kids. They had one bathroom with 2 stalls that were constantly clogged. Like, the kids had to play on the street because the playground had, like, collapsed and a kid got run over by a fucking beer delivery truck and died. Like, it was brutal.
Blocks from some of the richest humans on earth.
And then sometimes in Brooklyn, as Brooklyn started to get gentrified, white parents couldn't get their kids into a private school. They didn't have the money, so they'd take over like a traditionally black school, and they would fundraise on their own, and they would start programs geared towards quote-unquote gifted children programs, which has been a guise for protecting white kids inside of a black school and getting resources that they fundraise themselves for. And so the class sizes on the gifted kids is like 22 and it's 45 for the general population. It's fucking crazy. So anyway, like between that and I just read a book called Underground Railroad, like I'm going head first into this into the exploring my role in as being a white man in society today and the history of it, and you know, not to flagellate myself, is that the word?
Yeah.
But to try to, you know, inform myself more about you know, what I think I don't know.
Apparently you don't. I think there's something that feels good about this flagellation though. Like, obviously, it's you know, it's kind of like the rock star who's really killing himself because it feels unnatural. There's a disequilibrium between all the praise and all the great things that people are saying about them, and they're feeling shitty inside. So to you here, I would say, because it's me also, getting called an asshole, you know, indirectly even by watching, you know, things like this. Levels, you know, you get closer to your equilibrium about how you feel inside.
Right. And I do think that I have felt privilege in my life. I mean, I have definitely felt like doors have opened for me easier than other people I saw around me. And not just because of being white, but also because of being male, also because I was born upper middle class, also because, you know, I'm not bad looking. I was never like considered really great looking, but good enough looking that it helps. All these things have helped me, and I think I have carried a guilt about that to some extent.
Yeah. Well, they say, like we talked about white guilt during when Black Lives Matter was really hitting here in Los Angeles, and you know, one thing about it, like, it's obviously, you know, a therapist would be like, well, that's kind of inappropriate and not useful and all that. But if you, for me, and whatever, we don't have to spend a lot of time on this. I'd rather talk about birthdays. But for me, the guilt is there because I don't do more to help the problem I'm very aware of.
Right.
It's not just, oh, I fucking was born white and I hate it. Like, I see actresses post. I see a bunch of people, especially in Hollywood, like, I'm so sorry I was born white. It's terrible. If I could change it. Like, all that bullshit. And it's like, just, how about this? No, just you're very aware of the problem. Start helping.
Yeah.
And if you don't, maybe you should feel guilty.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So I think that's where it is.
Yeah. All right. I'm also watching a show from Israel called Shtisel, which is a drama. It's just a very bare bones, simple drama about these people that are the religious. There are people in Israel, they're not all religious. It's actually a pretty secular society, Israel, but then you have I don't know if you call them Hasidic or Orthodox. I never know the distinction between the two, but they're the more religious. What's that?
Backwards?
They're backwards. I mean, they are
by design, actually.
They're completely consumed with their religion. They don't work. They are all
but it's also anti-technology. Technically, they also are sort of backwards.
Right, and they're all on welfare.
I'm not calling them,
they're all on welfare. They don't have to sign up for the army in Israel. But this is not a
they don't?
No. They get a pass.
Wait, in Israel?
Yep.
Just by being very religious?
Yep.
Wow. I'm shocked.
But Israel supports them because they represent Judaism. And so they just pay their way. And they all just study the fucking Torah all day. And the women do all the work and the men don't do shit. And it's arranged marriages. It's really kind of interesting.
Huh. All right.
What are you watching?
I saw something really similar. It's called Mad Max. So I had seen it before. It's the third one or fourth. Maybe it's the fourth one. Yes, it's the fourth one with Charlize Theron.
Amazing.
And,
it's too bad you didn't see it in the theater. You need to see that shit on a big screen.
Hold on. Can you see my TV out the window? There is a giant sound bar on the bureau.
Yeah.
So I made it as good as I could do because we're not going to theaters. Also, it's not playing in the theater anymore. So Sophie wanted to see it because I had talked about it. And I'm like, it's just like the action stops. Like there's like 4 breathers in the whole movie.
Yeah.
And I didn't know like if she loved it. And it's so great watching with someone who like all of a sudden, I'm not giving anything away, but all of a sudden, I'll just put it this way, there's a guitarist, and to hear someone out loud go, "What the fuck?" and then some of the chases are like, well, how can it maintain this for 2 hours? Like, I've already seen the coolest, like, pirate vehicles trying to overtake this truck. And it's like, well, how can these vehicles get any more creative? And all of a sudden it's like, oh, have you heard about, like, putting Cirque du Soleil on some of the vehicles?
Yeah, right.
Like, there's poles, you know what I'm talking about? And it's just, it's constant wows.
Yeah.
You're just like, wow,
Yeah.
wow.
And what's amazing is it's a revamp of the original Mad Max, but it captures that same spirit of like nihilism, of complete.
Well, he's in it. No, he's in it, and he's many pegs down, and they, whatever. You'll see. He's in the opening scene, and then it cuts to her story, and then the stories, obviously meet.
Yeah.
But it is, the world is out of basically water. All society, civilization is broken down, and it's basically pirates in the desert. And also in this one, I think giving birth, being able to carry a baby to term is an extreme rarity, which is in a lot of futuristic things.
Which futuristic? How about present? How about
Greg.
Now?
Greg.
There's like it's 30% decrease in fertility.
In willing fertility, or you mean like that they can get pregnant?
Ability to get pregnant, down
Really?
30%. Yeah.
Oh, here come the corrections. That seems like a very high number.
Nope. It's exactly right.
Women over 50? Who are we talking about?
Nope. Women between the ages of 11 and 13 are finding in this study. Now, I don't know the ages. What am I, fucking...
All right. It's just not true. There's no way a 30% biological decrease in fertility.
Okay.
Anyway.
You'll see.
I also watched The Father.
I can't bring myself to watch that. It's too sad.
You got to watch it.
Really?
It has, of course, the most evil nemesis in all storytelling, which is Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Forget Mad Max. Forget the pirates who are swinging onto your, like catapulting themselves onto your truck. Alzheimer's is going to get you. And no, it's the way the story was told. So it was a play. And Sir Anthony Hopkins is the father, and holy shit, Olivia Colman is the daughter. It's an acting masterclass. Although I will say, Janet Maslin, beloved reviewer from the New York Times, she and a bunch of her followers were really sort of pointing out they really wanted Frank Langella, who I guess killed it on Broadway as the father. They wanted him in this movie role. But I don't know how you could, I guess there's some maybe criticism. But anyway.
It's Anthony Hopkins, right?
Yeah. And even at one point, my daughter's like, we're way into the movie. She's like, wait, is that Hannibal Lecter? Like, that's how different, even though he looks so similar, the acting, he's really a different person.
All right, I'll watch it. Apparently, he's going to win the Oscar for it. He's been nominated 6 times. Guess how many times he won?
Once.
Yep.
But yeah, Silence of the Lambs. But that is only because I think the other actors are going to, I guess he won the BAFTA, right? But he didn't win the Globe. But the others might be splitting the vote.
I think the guy in Messiah, the blank in the Messiah, what was it?
Are they all supporting?
No, the guy who is the lead.
Judas and Black Messiah? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he may be the front runner, but who knows? Who knows?
Well, no, it's Boseman who's deceased.
Oh, right.
Chadwick. I think he might be, but
yeah,
then
whatever Black Bottom.
It's awful talking about this, but I have read articles, so it's not me. I'm going to hide behind them, that are saying, like, in terms of like the diversity vote, which is very, very, very active in the Oscars so white community, as we've seen over the last few years, where Green Book, a fucking Lifetime after school movie, wins best movie. So, but then great ones do, like Moonlight. Anyway, the theory is they may split the vote, which could put it in the hands of Anthony Hopkins.
This will all be on our Oscar show coming up. I think is it next week, the Oscars?
It is I believe it's next week.
Okay, so we will do our Oscar picks. Since we record on Saturday, we'll do our Oscar picks and see who wins.
But see Mad Max, and just volume. I mean, obviously volume. Audio is so important. It's engines. But even I thought, oh, is this just a guy thing? And Sophie was like, this is so this. And she turns to me at one point and goes, this is why I want to drive a motorcycle. By the way, this is Sophie, the least aggro. Like, she's so feminine.
Yeah.
And so it was very, so this movie just has this cool quality that you don't have to be a guy who's wanted a Mustang to enjoy.
No, it's great. If you want to turn your daughter into a lesbian, check out Mad Max, the newest one. Okay, let's get to it, Mike. Last week, I gave you some shit about a band that you had sent me a link during the week to listen to, Khruangbin, spelled Khruangbin, which I looked up. Do you know why they're called Khruangbin?
I'm assuming it's some sort of Mediterranean dip made from chickpeas.
It's Thai. It's a Thai word that means something. And that's why they named it. But anyway, so I re-listened. I got fucking dozens of emails from people. You
sent me a bunch of them.
So upset that I didn't like Khruangbin. And absolutely nobody agreed with me. Everybody's talking about what an amazing band this is, what a great sound. So I go back and I listen to it. And the first thing I put on is Texas Sun, which is with Leon Bridges. If you don't know him, he's just fucking... He's like a modern Otis Redding. He's amazing.
Yeah.
And that, it's only 4 tracks, and it is fucking brilliant. But here's the thing. What you sent me was like a fucking Chinese death march. It was their most mellow, most esoteric, pretentious stuff.
No, man, it's a groove. And I didn't even know the Leon. I didn't even know that connect. And I had heard that song, like, all fall or summer, whenever it came out. And I had heard Texas Sun because my favorite radio station here. Oh, man.
Well, why didn't you send me Texas Sun? Why did you send me fucking massage music?
This is how strong they are on their own. I hadn't even made that connection. Of course, I would have sent that to the naysayer just to get you on board, because you're going to be a slow adopter in this.
Well, I am on board. I haven't completely come around because I do fast forward some of their songs, but when they do funk, it's so controlled. It's like a mellow funk. Their drum. Oh, I gotta show you this. Somebody sent me. They did. You ever see NPR Music does that Tiny Desk concerts?
It's so weird seeing them in daylight without psychedelic stuff behind them.
Right.
I watched that, but did you read the comments?
That's what I was gonna read.
Oh, read the comments. They're so funny.
It's so much about the drummer because the drummer looks autistic. He stares straight ahead. He is so consumed with his drumming, and it's again very restrained drumming, but so on time, and that's all anybody talks about. Well, first of all, somebody goes, "It's good to see Cleopatra playing bass instead of ruling Egypt."
Love it. Love it.
Because they wear black wigs with bangs. The drummer is probably playing chess in his head against himself.
Yeah.
Hold on. I heard this drummer got lost in the wilderness with no phone or watch, and when they found him 3 years later, he knew what second it was.
He's keeping time. You get it?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Coolest band I've seen in a long time. That drummer looks like he's thinking about a cure for cancer and just does this to relax.
Yeah, that guy, it's almost like his, those special effects where his body gets up and takes a little break as his body stays there drumming,
Yeah.
He like splits and his ghost checks out. It's like that. That's what he's like.
Drummer takes his hands away and the sticks keep going.
There. Whoa. That's exactly what I just described.
Yeah. The drummer has such a good sense of time that he probably doesn't find Christopher Nolan movies confusing. I find that comment confusing.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Have you seen Tenet?
No.
You're constantly like, wait, hold on. Is this future, present, but meanwhile, little spoiler, you'll be doing that with the father also.
Okay.
So put it this way, when you go down to La Jolla or Laguna, wherever you're going, and you got your Blue Chew, and maybe you have another edible, and you're throwing, in addition to what you're going to throw some Khruangbin on.
Yeah, yeah. Without a doubt. This is fuck music.
Oh, wait, there's a more elegant way to say it, no?
Nope. That's what
it's not romantic?
I would put it up there with, what's his name? You'll Never Find.
Oh, Ozzy Osbourne?
Another Love Like Mine.
Lou Rawls?
Lou Rawls.
Lou Rawlpin?
That's fuck music.
I guess if you want to be thinking about Lou the whole time instead of
Florida,
Cleopatra on bass.
Speaking of Florida.
Uh-oh. That's all we're doing on Khruangbin? Okay. Florida woman charged for allegedly threatening to kill Kamala Harris. Nivian Pettit Phelps. Again, I got to get a middle name going. I got to get three names.
Yeah.
She knowingly and willfully made threats to kill and inflict bodily harm. I think it's a little redundant if you're killing her. Upon the Vice President of the United States. In a video on February 18th, Phelps stated, quote, "I'm going to the gun range. I swear to God, today is your day. You're going to die. 50 days from today, mark this day down." Okay. Is she auditioning to be the Riddler in some movie? Because just like The Father and just like the movie Tenet, I have no idea when this assassination attempt is going to happen. Let's review it. I swear to God, today is your day. You're going to die. You got that, Kamala? Today. So, 50 days from today, mark this day down. Okay? You do the math. All I can tell you is there's a bullet with your name on it. It's going to be between 30 and 45 days from now. I'll give you an update which day it's going to be.
This is very QAnon. This is like when Trump didn't take office this past year when he was supposed to, and they changed the date. They go, "Oh, well, it's going to be 20 days from inauguration because that's the quotient in a symbol that was put out in one of Donald Trump's tweets."
Listen, Kamala, 4 weeks, take back 16 days. That afternoon, I'm going to tell you which year without a leap year it's coming your way. That's what's going to happen.
And it's daylight savings time, so don't walk outside early.
If you're in the mountain time zone, it may come a day earlier. Just be warned. What is going on there?
And this is a Florida woman. Also in Florida, police are trying to identify the driver of a vehicle that was captured on video, and you have to watch this video. I would imagine we can be showing. Can we be showing it on our YouTube feed right now while we're talking?
Know. I haven't seen it. What is it now?
It was just a classic. It was a car. It was like a small SUV, and they busted through the the arm of the drawbridge, and then it jumped. It jumped the drawbridge as the bridge was going up.
What do you think? It was one of the Duke boys?
I'll tell you something. In my lifetime, there's certain things I want to do. I want to run from the cops again. I used to when I was a teenager many times. I want to run from the cops. I want to jump over a drawbridge. I want to defend my wife from somebody on the street with a fist fight.
Wow. All right.
There's just certain things I want to do.
Okay. Weird in that you really put your wife down pretty far down on that list, but okay. I would jump a drawbridge with a motorcycles jump well.
Yes.
The center of gravity, because of you and the engine between your legs, is kind of in the middle. You've seen cars do this where immediately it nosedives because all the weight of the car is up front.
Right. Well, in fairness, the bridge was barely up. I mean, it wasn't much of a jump. It maybe jumped like a foot or two.
If you
but he did it. But he fucking did it.
If you did a Porsche with the engine in the back, I've never seen one of those like do a jump. But does it look like a fat bumblebee or wasp whose ass is so heavy? Like, does the ass immediately go down like whoa, and like it pulls like a wheelie in the air and look pathetic?
It wasn't even that. It barely left the ground, but he did it. He did it.
All right. I like that. I want to see this video.
Okay. Go to Fox 35.
It's in Daytona. This is car culture.
Yeah.
He probably made him proud. So did he stick the landing?
Yeah, he did. Daytona's motorcycle culture.
No, the Daytona 500, y'all.
Oh, right. But they also have that biker rally every year that's huge during spring break.
Oh, yeah. Sturgis. Are we gearing up? When's that? That's not till like July or June, right? Oh, I can't wait.
All right. Let's do...
We're going long here. What are we
doing?
doing?
Going long. Should we do international or should we go down to sports?
Let's do sport. Well, it's Sunday. So the story that Chris Denman, who's a fighter, has pasted in here is this Jake Paul fight.
All right. Now, I don't know anything about this. Jake Paul, who is he? Some annoying YouTube douchebag?
Yeah. Guy's fit, though. So I saw the weigh-in. And so this guy, Ben Askren, now anyone who knows about fighting will just bear with me because, but when I saw the weigh, I'm late to this Ben Askren guy. When you see this weigh-in, you're like, the blonde guy who's Jake Paul is going to beat this guy up. And you're like, wait a minute, that kind of looks like my body on Ben Askren. Like, obviously he's more fit, but it's kind of like I could get that fit. Like I couldn't get Jake Paul fit.
Right.
And I guess the thing on this guy is he's like dad bod guy. And
right.
I guess even Rogan has said like he uses him as an example. Like you cannot judge, sort of, you don't know what's under the hood. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
And that this guy has some hips and has some softness in the midsection and isn't jacked. And, he has a strong chin, but he's not like from across the room. You wouldn't be like, I'm not fighting that guy.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to me.
Yeah, a lot of the old Irish guys always had those bodies. They had skinny legs and sometimes a belly. I mean, George Foreman at one point looked fucking fat in the ring.
Yeah. True, but he was big.
So Askren gets a $500,000 payday, but Jake Paul gets $690,000. Plus, I think they get a taste of the pay-per-view money.
So a little stats on this guy Askren, who you will underestimate if you see him at the bar in his flip-flops. He's Olympian, former MMA champion, collegiate wrestling star. He's known for his wrestling prowess, not his stand-up takes. So I guess boxing is his weakness. Maybe Denman can clarify that. I think that's what it is.
Now,
Yeah.
this is insane. It says here, I don't know if you wrote, Chris Denman wrote this.
Very
that the
poor
hosts-
hands. I guess that's a phrase that fighters use. He has very poor hands.
Huh.
Yeah.
The hosts include Mario Lopez, Pete Davidson, and there's going to be performances by Justin Bieber, the Black Keys,
What?
Doja Cat, and a bunch of other people. Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, Too
Wait,
Short.
whoa. Hey, Denman, is Snoop Dogg announcing this fight? I think I'm going to get this fight.
Yeah.
All right.
son
Now,
has a
meanwhile, this
pass.
is Sunday and everyone knows what happened. So why don't we say something interesting? You want to bet?
Yeah, I'll bet.
I don't know how to do that math. Oh, a plus 155 underdog. So what is that? I bet you $20. You owe me 30 if I win.
Okay.
But don't we want to both root against Jake Paul?
Yeah, I feel bad about betting for Jake Paul. I don't know him, but he sounds like a douchebag.
You know
So
what?
I
Let's
don't-
not do it. Let's just
Let's
know
not do
we're
it.
going for Askren.
Yeah. Chris is saying one of you bet on Ben to win via finish. One of you bet on decision.
Oh.
Nah, I don't care enough about this.
Oh. And it already happened. So there you go, listeners.
All right, let's get
By the way,
to-
the last MMA fight, I called it. I saw that wide guy. That's all I could describe. His body was wide, and he beat our Irishman. He beat the most popular MMA fighter.
Conor
in the world.
McGregor?
Yeah, he beat him. I called
Really?
it. I called it based on the weigh-in last time.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I saw that. That was
Yeah.
a quick one. He
Dustin Poirier.
He just kept kicking him in the leg, which is that's my worst nightmare. He basically just he got in about 5 kicks to the side of Conor's leg, and it was over.
Poirier, or actually, if I'm gonna, Chris is trying to spell it phonetically for me. Poirier. Poirier.
All right, let's do some science. Researchers have been inserting human stem cells into the embryos of other mammals in hope of growing replacement organs for transplant.
What don't we put into monkeys? That's how AIDS started. Go ahead.
That's right. They've now introduced human stem cells into monkey embryos. The researchers found that some of the embryos retained the human cells, which integrated with the monkey cells and began to differentiate. So, okay, you want to talk about who's going to win the next MMA fight. How about the guy who's got orangutan cells in him? He's going to be all over you.
Yeah.
And then he's going to jerk off after the fight's over in the middle of the ring and throw it at the judges.
I mean, charge me whatever you want. That pay-per-view will be playing on every TV in my house.
That's what the future of sports is going to be. Just fucking stem cell hybrids. In football, it'll be a guy who's half bull, half man on the line.
I bet some historian could back me up on this. I think that's what happens. Like in Roman times, like things get so, an empire builds up, it gets so rich, then the rich fragment off, and there's this incredible poor class. And then just to please and distract, all of a sudden fighting events, crazy fighting events start, like in the Coliseum and stuff, or like with these half monkey, half men MMA cage fights we're going to see. And they're a big distraction, but they're an outlet for all the rage we're feeling.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think there's something there.
Absolutely. I mean, look, this is coming to a head. This, if Biden can, if he can somehow bridge this divide between the rich and the poor a little bit over the next 4 or 8 years, then rich people have a chance. If it goes back to the way things were going, do you know how much richer the rich got during this pandemic in the last year, and how much poorer the poor got? The divide is huge. And then they did try to organize a union against Amazon down in Alabama, and it failed. America doesn't want to fucking unite against multinational corporations.
They don't get it.
Now,
Well, that's the thing. How many times have I said it? if you don't create a middle class or now a monkey class or a half monkey class,
Yeah,
the country has no hope.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It would be funny to have a football team and like the wide receiver is half gazelle, half human.
But it's not even that. It's like all of a sudden, like those ships that we drove up on the beach in Normandy. China's ships are just going to come to California, and the things are going to pop down, and then these monkey soldiers are going to pop out.
Right, right. It's going to be half monkey soldiers and half drones.
They're going to kill their rocket program. They don't need it now. They're just going to take over the old school. They're going to come over the Bering Strait. All these monkeys, they're not thrown by low temperatures. They don't need to eat as much.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just bananas. Just fucking a ship full of bananas.
They don't even need guns. They just keep coming. Like, so you kill the first 7 lines of them. They're going to keep coming.
All right, let's do some business.
Okay.
All right. What do we got?
Well, it's actually a Florida man. The man who scored $235.4 million Powerball prize last month has come forward, and he's Florida's youngest jackpot winner ever in the multi-state lottery game. Thomas, 23, of Land O'Lakes. Okay. Has Florida just given up being a serious place? Like, here's our city. We have a new development. What do you want to call it? Hey, how about Land O'Lakes? Like that box of butter.
How do you get there? You go right through. I can't believe it's not butter.
It's just, the whole state is known as being an amusement park already.
Yeah.
All right. So this serious city is called Land O'Lakes. Anyway, he was revealed as the big winner from the March 27th drawing. He decided to take his winnings as a one-time lump sum payment of $160.1 million, basically.
Jesus.
So would you do that, by the way? Because what and I don't know what the payout was, but it was $235.5 million.
Well, that's actually, I thought you ended up with half when you took a one-time payment, and this is quite a bit more than half. But then don't forget, that gets taxed at about, at what, 35%? So you're going to lose another $50,000 out of that. So you're only going to end up with $110 million.
In a Florida man's hands?
That's right, a young Florida man.
Well, when he did the math, they explained, because these numbers are so ridiculously big, they explained what 160 million equals, and put in perspective, and this is when he decided to take the payout. That's 27,000 jet skis. It's also, if you're not going the jet ski route, it's 4,000 convertible Mustangs, or 53,000 baby tigers.
53,000?
I Googled it for that dumb joke this morning, and I couldn't believe how cheap a baby. I think a French bulldog costs more than a baby tiger now.
No shit.
It's also, and this is great news for Florida, 107,000 DUIs. Now, and that math, don't send in your corrections. That math is a little off because the DUIs do get more expensive the more you get.
That's
but based on the number of your first DUI penalty in Florida, you got 107,000 of them coming.
Wait, did you literally look up these prices?
I did. I divided, things into 100. I don't work on this until a half hour before we go on.
Yeah.
It was pretty quick math, though. I divided the price into 160 million.
What's the going rate on an abortion in Florida these days?
I didn't Google that.
I think if you do 10 on your card, you get the 11th one free.
Well, let's say I don't know what number you want to put on it, but it's equal to about 110,000 falls down the stairs. So I think it's free.
Take her on a bumpy jet ski ride. There you go, sweetheart. Come on, we're going for a ride. It's a little choppy today.
Or just play with this baby tiger, but you have to play with it. You have to promise to play with it for about 14 months, and I think there won't be a problem with you or the baby.
Of course, we have our Investopedia contest going on. We also we track Bitcoin. It is at $60,000 right now. It's been all over the place. It jumped up to like 65 this week and then came back down to 60. But the big noise is this Coinbase, which is this other digital currency that started out as kind of a joke. It really
Yeah.
was like a parody account, and now it's going through the roof. It's like if you want to get on the next wave of Bitcoin, buy some Coinbase. It's kind of complicated how you buy it. It's not a direct purchase of a product. It's like I can't even explain it, but it's weird.
I invested, Greg.
In what?
Investopedia.
Oh, nice.
My money that was sitting on the side,
Yeah.
and boy, did I time it well, because I did it, I think, midweek.
This was a big
First
week
time-
for the stock market.
First time ever, and you saw what the stock market did the rest of the week.
Yeah.
And I've taken my 100,000 and I'm at 97,853.
Well, guess who's at 111,000 and in 12th place?
You fucking pussy.
Nope. Your daughter, Olivia.
She's a pussy too. Scaredy cat, just
12th
doing.
place out of 350 people. Why don't you fucking turn your money over to her? Anybody's better than you.
I'm ranked 241, so I'm right behind her.
And right now, Nick Allen is in first place. He is at $221,000, down $8,000 from last week. And in last place, still, Fitter 111. He's down to $25,000.
He's my guy. He's my guy. I like him.
He's got to be trying to bet badly on purpose. He's got to be. He's
Oh, yeah?
putting
What
it into AMC. I bought AMC, by the way. I took a hit on AMC.
Yeah, that's what you do. Well, I gave you that pick. You want some
Yeah.
more? You want
Yeah.
some more?
That's great. And then this day in history.
Oh boy. What do
It
we
was,
got?
remember the big San Francisco earthquake in 1906? Estimated.
So overdue. We're so overdue. I decided to rent another year because I think this is the year, and I'm going to fucking swoop in and buy a damaged house.
You can't even buy a house right now. I talked to a friend who just bought
Oh,
a
you'll
new
be able to
house.
buy every house after the earthquake.
You will. Right now, you can't. You can't get a house in L.A. It goes on the market. It gets 20 offers. It goes over asking price. I thought people were leaving L.A.
No, they are, but there was pent up demand, but also this giant pandemic. Especially, God, if you have like a room in the backyard or any type of home office in the house, that's huge. But everyone in LA, because of the price, like, all right, for you listeners out there, just to give you an idea, and we're talking about shitty neighborhoods. We're not talking about Beverly Hills. A house that let's say the whole idea is to tear it down. It's one story, it's 2 bedrooms, it's 1 bath, maybe 1.5. As I'm describing it, Greg, honestly, you're probably thinking it's over $1 million,
It's
right?
$1.2 million.
What I just described, shitty street, shitty block. I'm not talking a crime-ridden. Well, yeah, it is crime-ridden if it's Venice, but I'm not talking about like war zone. But I'm talking like unattractive block, shitty school district. That's easily $1.2 million to tear it down,
Right.
which costs a lot of money.
And try building a house right now because wood has like doubled in price. Steel has gone way up in price.
And no labor.
Right.
So you can't find the skilled laborers and all that stuff. So anyway, but anyway, my point was everybody has put all their money because of those prices to get a house. You no longer are diversified. All your money's in your house.
Yeah.
That's why they're all going to have to sell when there's $45,000 worth of damage to their house.
Right.
Or hopefully it's that little.
I don't have earthquake insurance because
I heard it's a good time to get it. You heard? Go ahead. Why?
I crunched the numbers and I realized that the value of my house is not the house itself. It's the property that it's on in Venice.
True.
That's what's expensive. And earthquake insurance is super expensive. There's all kinds of outs where they don't have to pay for it. And if it gets bad enough, FEMA will pay for the repairs.
There used to be a deductible, which was 20%. So let's say you had, 150,000. You come off the foundation, which is very popular. That even happened a lot in 94, the Northridge quake. So let's say the chimney's fucked. You come off the foundation, your floors, blah, blah, blah. Let's say it's 150,000 or 100,000. Floors are all fucked. First 20%, that's out of your pocket.
Yeah.
So there goes your first 30 grand. And then you're in line, and of all insurance companies do, that's all they do is try not to pay.
Right. And then good luck. If you think it's hard finding a construction crew right now, how about after an earthquake? That's why my whole thing is if my house crumbles in an earthquake, I sell the parcel of land, I fucking move out of LA, I move on with my life. I'm not sticking around. I'm not going to live in a hotel for 2 years while my house gets rebuilt and I'm paying double what I would have before an earthquake. Fuck that.
You get one of those home kits or whatever they're called. You know, the houses that basically come out of a box.
Yeah, right.
Those are popping up everywhere. You're talking like me. One thing I will say, and this is now I'm talking like you used to, it's never been better, though, to buy earthquake insurance. There hasn't been, we're so overdue because of since 94 that the government stepped in and told insurance companies, your coffers are fucking full of everybody's earthquake insurance because of this unprecedented run without a 4-point-something quake. You have to make it more attractive and a better deal for people. We want people insured.
Really?
Yes. So the deductible came down, the price came down. I know what you just described, but you would get money.
Yeah. All right. I'll do it.
And maybe you've timed it well, because I think it's coming Thursday.
You were talking about 14th Street in Manhattan getting an earthquake 30 years ago. Still hasn't happened.
They're due.
You said it was going to happen any year. It never fucking happened.
I'm not great at what am I, 253 in this Investopedia? I'm not great at predictions.
All right, let's do an Ask Amy. We haven't done Ask Amy in 6 months.
Wait, all right. I didn't think we'd do it. I just slapped it in here this morning.
Okay.
I haven't read it. All right, you want me to read it?
Read it.
Dear Amy, I live with roommates Jeff and Beth. They are a couple. My friend Dan is engaged to Nan. Is this fucking a fairy tale?
Is this
an
Dr.
Aesop?
Seuss?
Yeah, well, Jeff and Beth and Dan and Nan? Well, all right. Okay, I'm going to keep reading. I hope the question's about your fucking rhyming friends. What about Steve and Eve? Are they coming over to join the fucking thing?
Is Danny and Fanny coming?
Come on, Kim. Why didn't you bring Jim? All right. Dan has been continually asking to come over to my house for a barbecue and to hang out. I'm not against the idea, but Jeff hits on women all the time, especially voluptuous ones.
Oh, Nan's voluptuous.
But Jeff's with Beth. That was the first sentence. We've covered this. And
Maybe
you wrote
they've
that
been
they were
together
a
for
couple.
a long time. Who knows?
Is Beth shapy? Is she roomy? Anyway, he goes for the voluptuous ones. We have to assume Jeff's Beth is voluptuous. Anyway, if I do go through with the invite and have them over, Jeff will continuously hit on Nan. That will throw off the rhyme scheme until one of two things ends up happening. She will either... So the first option is she falls for this. She will either fall for his charm and end up having an affair and or sleeping with him. Isn't that
How
what
big
an
is this
affair
house? How big is this house that you can sneak off and have an affair?
I assume they live in a shoe with all the names rhyming. Anyway, wait, are you reading that sentence with me? He'll have an affair and or sleeping with him. Oh, maybe that's just like a one-off sleeping with him? Okay. Or she'll be disgusted and mad at me for having them over. Either way, I see nothing good coming out of this on my end. My question for you is this. My name's Patricia. What rhymes with that? I'm looking for a man, Amy. No. My question for you is this. How can I tell Dan that hanging out here is not in his best interest?
Interesting.
How can I tell Dan?
As far as I'm concerned, if I'm having people over, I always want an X factor. You want some chaos at your dinner party. You want to shake. Who wants to be middle-aged white people that have two couples over? You talk about what's on Netflix, a little bit of liberal politics, and everybody goes home. No, I want a guest hitting on another guest, potentially charming them into having sex in my bedroom while you awkwardly sit with their partners out by the pool. That's a fucking party.
So many people we know, and we're old, would seem so intimidating. Like whether it's going over Josh's house for dinner or the Dunskys or, any of our house, my house, your house. But all of our friends, if there was some wild card brought in, like some young boyfriend or young girlfriend or like someone we didn't know, and in the middle of this New York Times, New Yorker reading fucking, esoteric bullshit that's really probably intimidating. If any one of these people was like, hey, I have a little Coke, the whole table would fucking love it.
Yes.
And I'm not even saying they would do Coke, but it would be like, wow, that mixed things up.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
We were at dinner with a couple recently that we've known for a long time, and totally jokingly, I go, "So what are we doing? We gonna mix it up tonight? We gonna do a little swinging?" And everybody laughed, but I swear to you, there was a little hint of sexuality in the air when I said it, because it went into people's minds for a second, and that's all it took.
And then you saw that, and you're like, I'm going to capitalize on this. And you're like, I got a Khruangbin playlist. And then it was on, man.
That's right. Yeah. All right. Let's do some letters to the editor.
Oh, didn't we do that? All
Woman
right.
named Joanne said, "I seem to really have a crush on these guys." Whoa.
Maybe
hey.
maybe we should read Joanne's horoscope.
Maybe Joanne should be that wild card guest that you invite to the party.
She has some blow. She's ready to go.
Matthew Tronchiletti said, "Grapes, I'm concerned that Mike is becoming full-blown, quote, yeah, no guy. He says it all the time. He'll be agreeing with you, and he says, yeah. No, it is. No, it is. Or no, absolutely. Which is it, Mike? You're answering in the affirmative and the negative. Pick one."
He has a good point, but he doesn't. Because, first of all, I love yeah, no, because, all right, I've run a ton of writer rooms. It's kind of like the yes and, but mine is a yes but. And it's kind of like, listen, here's what the yeah is in a yeah, no. It's, yeah, I hear you, but no, that was fucking garbage that just came out of your mouth.
Yeah.
It might be that, or you build on it. Like, yeah, no, you've considered it, yeah, but no. And now what's his other stuff? No, absolutely. Oh, that's just building. When you build on, like, you have a funny premise, and then I do, and then you do,
I think it's like, it's the thing that drives people crazy about NPR when they start every sentence with "so," because to me, it's so patronizing. It's so kind of says like, okay, all right, you're a fucking idiot, so let me explain it to you slowly.
Yeah, I love being patronizing, but I mean, in other words, like, I love being like, you think like that?
Yeah,
that's the most patronizing thing you could say.
You do that
like,
a lot. You do that a lot.
Because I'm kind of like, really, it's saying, do you want to think that through again? Or like, your mind works that way? Because you think you just told me that you just communicated a thought. So you think doesn't make sense on paper.
Yeah.
You think?
Like, you think? Like,
Wow.
Did you think about that?
Yeah. I might as well be making, that circle with my, that crazy symbol where I make a circle around my ear pointing at my head. Like, you think? Telling everybody else, like, watch out for this one.
All right, this one comes from Elizabeth Brown. Boys, what is up with Chris Demon, our producer?
No
How can he
shit.
not get you an immediate answer? Although ripping on him is hilarious, how about you give a girl a chance to be the searcher of information?
Chris couldn't even give us his birthday.
I guarantee I can do
Typical
it much
June
faster
12th.
for free, and you can rip on me. I'm the daughter of the Rough Rider condom guy, after all. Remember that? Remember that? She wrote in and her
I do.
dad had Rough Rider condoms.
No. Yeah. Well, she's a product of rough sex.
I love you guys maybe even more than Joanne. Forever in love, Liz. P.S. Squeaky Fromm did attempt to kill Ford.
That's a correction.
Yeah.
And you know what it was? 2 chicks. I think I can call them that. It was back in the day. 2 chicks tried to kill Ford. Famously. There might have been more. And she was one of them. I was thinking of the other one. Squeaky's gun jammed. Do you know she would have done it? She got right point blank range and her gun jammed.
Was she part of the PLO? Or was she a Manson girl?
No, Manson.
Oh,
I'm
right.
wondering if she expanded and include the PLO under her banner. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, let's do an obituary.
And that's all, folks.
Oh, boy.
Here's a guy who you may not know. I'm sure you don't know, but I
Yeah,
felt
no.
like he deserves a shout out. Ray Lambert was serving in the U.S. Army as a medic when his unit was sent to Normandy on D-Day. As troops stormed the beach, many were injured by enemy fire and landmines. Lambert located a protected area behind a large concrete block and began dragging injured men from the water to the block so they could be assisted by medics.
Oh,
He was
this story
credited-
sounds familiar.
Why?
I bet that's the writer of Forrest Gump took that story. That's what
Oh.
Forrest did.
He was credited with saving at least 15 lives that day, even as he was severely injured himself, including a broken back. He was later honored by President Donald Somebody at a ceremony in Normandy marking the 75th anniversary of D-Day. The concrete block he used to shelter the injured was named Ray's Rock and has a plaque affixed to it honoring Lambert and his men. This is where it gets great. You hear these stories about these guys, and it is mind-blowing. First of all, I couldn't even do basic training. Never mind fucking go overseas, attack a fucking beach, save people, and you think, okay, this guy's done. He's got a broken back. Give him a lazy boy and some crossword puzzles. Call it a life. Nope. After the war, Lambert attended the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, and founded 2 electrical contracting companies with his brother.
He did not tip on chicken wing deliveries. Go ahead. That's one knock against him. Go ahead.
At age 98, he published his memoir, Every Man a Hero, which became a New York Times bestseller. The title referred to his belief that he shouldn't be singled out. Every man in his unit was a hero of the war. Yep. And I do 3 podcasts from my shitty office.
You just shamed me even further. You do 3 more podcasts than I.
2 more.
3 times as many?
Okay.
How good do I? He went to MIT. I can't even figure out 3 podcasts to 1 and what that fucking ratio is. Also, he wrote a book at 98. Even though I have nothing to write about, I couldn't write a book at 98. I can't write a book now.
I can't read a book. You know the last time I read a book?
It's intimidating, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, to sit there and be able to focus. But, it reminds me of that thing where it's like, especially when I was younger, let's say I was in my 20s, and I'd see like a fit dude, in his like 50s or whatever. I'm like, I hope when I'm 50, like I'm like fit like that. And one friend eventually goes, "You're fucking not fit like that now. What makes you think you're going to be like that in your 50s? You're 26.
I know. I see those commercials for Geritol with the older couple that's like, power walking or riding a bike, and they're eating a lot of celery and they're juicing. And I think maybe you get to a certain age and you have so much time on your hands that you just fucking go all in on health.
Well, you have a lot of incentive, I guess. I don't know. But I think, they're models. They're paid models. They don't even know each other, that couple. They're probably dumb as shit.
All right,
anyway.
It's time after the obituaries. We always need to cheer up with the Sunday Funnies.
That guy cheered me up a little.
I know. That's a nice story, right?
That's a really good story.
Yeah. Here's the lot. I don't notice a family circus in here. I don't know if you want to pull one up while I'm...
shit. Yeah, let me go find the fucking gem that's out today. And we'll
Okay.
paste it in and not even read it. You go ahead.
All right. Leroy and Loretta are sitting at the dinner table. And Loretta has her mask on. They're at a restaurant. And Leroy is sitting there. And he looks at her and he says, "Okay, I should have phrased it differently when I said you look good in a mask." You got to see her fucking beaming eyes.
Yeah.
Hagar the Horrible.
And really angry.
We all love Hagar the Horrible.
Boy, do we.
And he loves women. He loves them harder than anybody I know. I mean, when he sees a woman, he can't even hold back. He loves them so much. His dopey friend says, the old Duke says he has no money. And then Hagar says the evidence suggests otherwise. And his buddy says, what evidence? And then you see this smoking hot blonde with a pink top and looks like she's got on like some black mod 1970s pants. and she says, "Would Dookie Wookie like me to wait inside for him?" And she's about to be raped.
This is the best part. Because I was cutting and pasting a Family Circus. I heard like, hey, we're doing Hager. And then the next thing I heard is, so she's going to be raped. And I think I didn't miss anything.
No, you just wonder about women that lived in that time. Like it just you got raped. It was the way they made love back then. There was no consent.
Consensual sex was like, it happened sometimes.
Right.
Probably happened a lot of the time with certain, people. But when we're talking 1,000 years ago, it was not, and I'm not talking about, I have to be careful what I say. I was about to say, I'm not talking about rape. I'm just talking about like, there was a sense of duty, and this is like best case scenario, kind of like if there wasn't consent. It's like, the husband wants it. And that would dictate what happened.
Yeah. Right.
Now if you want it, you have to fucking go down to Laguna, throw on Khruangbin, fucking drug yourself, hopefully drug her.
That's not just consensual. That's beleaguered.
Yeah, that's like, yeah, exactly. That's you've thrown in the towel.
All right, what do we got for Family Circus here?
Haven't read a word of it. Here we go live. Little fucker standing on a stool, the kid in the kitchen.
Billy. His name's Billy.
There's a dog there too. And then the dad has opened the top cabinet, and in there you see a box that says cookies. And the dad's looking down at the little fucker who's has his hand up and is explaining something. And I bet what he's explaining is in this quote here. And here we go. Quote, "Can you reach up there for me, Daddy? You're a little higher than me."
Whoa.
Wow. Holy.
Damn.
Like, I mean, all right. I want to be serious here. In his mind, is the joke higher? Like that only an idiot kid would describe taller as higher?
So it's swapping out the word taller for the word higher, printing it, and sending it to United Syndication to put in newspapers around the world.
And so when the paper gets it, wouldn't they be like, wow, you had a whole picture here which was telling a story and you totally ignored it? Like, Daddy, can you pass me that box of broccoli? That's not what it says, son. Or whatever. Like, I don't know. Honestly, just spend fucking 3 minutes with it and you'll have 40 better ones.
It's like if you were reading a novel and it just stopped, like halfway through a chapter. There was just blank pages after it.
It's, I don't think I need to prepare. I guess that's the last time I'm going blind into a Family Circus. I didn't realize how hard it hits me when I first see nothingness. It's like staring into the abyss. You're like, oh, it's almost like stepping back from like a tall building. Like, oh man, there's nothing in front of me.
When I read the Lockhorns, I get a chuckle out of it. I feel a little bit. The whole point of the comics at the end of the paper is it's a cleanse. It's dessert. It's a fun little burst you walk away with. Maybe even tell somebody the joke that you saw. Then you get Family Circus, and it sucks energy out of you because you're so confused and you're so sad that Jeff Keane is doing this week in and week out for years, for generations.
If he wasn't successful, it'd be funny. Like, hey, do you ever read that lunatic, that intellectually challenged? That's what they call crazy people, or the R word. So you would be like, that would be amusing. Like, hey, this crazy person sends in comics. Have you heard about that guy? And like, he's kind of half homeless, but he writes them down and he sends them in. They make no sense. Yeah, but no, this is generations of golf club memberships and houses everywhere.
Yep. And handing it off to his son, who takes mediocrity to the next level. Speaking of mediocrity, the husband, the worst husband in America with the hottest wife in America, Blondie.
Again, resentment.
She walks over and Dagwood is sunken into the blue chair. legs crossed with a newspaper up to his face. The dog is looking at him going like, why would you do this when there's this beautiful woman in a pea green miniskirt? She's got on a tight, kind of a pale green top, and she says, did you finish working on our taxes already, sweetheart? He says, without looking up from the paper, I'm done. She goes, my goodness, dear, you finished them in record time this year. He puts the paper down, looks at her, and he goes, I said I'm done. At which point, in reality, this fucking 10 of a woman would go, oh, yeah? Guess who else is done? Why don't you get upstairs and pack a bag and get the fuck out of this house while I sue you for half of the meager savings you've accrued after 40 years of working for that shitty boss of yours?
What is this strip saying?
He's saying, I said I'm done. Like he's not going to try anymore. He's done.
Or I'm done with this conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I'm done
I don't
talking
think
to
so.
you.
I think it's a joke on like, we're done. Like, it's not good. Like, I didn't even have to file taxes. I'm so useless. I'm done.
Either way, he doesn't get the bravado of sitting in a fucking chair and being flippant with this wife who knows he made so little last year. The taxes are going to take about 7 minutes to fill out.
What's going on with the blue? Oh, that's the dog's tail.
Yeah.
I thought she was holding a plate between her legs.
Yeah. He's got to pick it up. Somebody fucking animate me. Somebody figure out how to pixelate and animate me and send me into that strip so I'm going to go in there with a cheek full of Blue Chew and do some fucking damage and kick the shit out of Dagwood while I'm in there.
Perfect.
All right, listen, Mike, it's been a pleasure. This was a long. What did you say about this podcast when we went into it?
We didn't prepare at all, which I'm not bragging about, and so we pushed our start time.
What do you mean we didn't? What do you mean we didn't prepare at all?
I refer to that's my pronoun. I don't know why you have to call me out on it. I identify as we,
right,
and them. So we didn't prepare, and so we asked for another 15 minutes. But one of the things we said was
45.
Okay. One of the things we said was, I'm not great with time, was, hey, we've been going long. Remember we used to do that sweet hour 20? Let's just do that today. We have enough, and, we put in some stories.
Well, we went to 2:20, maybe because you told the same story twice. But
apparently I didn't, although Chris Denman doesn't listen, so...
well, we'll hear it. We'll hear it in the corrections, I'm sure. All right, don't forget, people, corrections, songs, logos, comments, send them all
Your birthday?
fitzdog@gmail.com. We love hearing from you. We want to thank Midcoast Media, the fine folks over there, Beth Hoops, Chris Denman, to turn in a good show for us week in and week out. Mm-hmm. And we want to thank you guys for listening and spreading the word. Go to Apple Podcasts and give us 5 stars and a comment. Tell your friends to check out the podcast, and I guess we'll see you next week.
That's it. Well, then you're in Philly, right?
I'm in Philly and Kansas City. Get your tickets also on the website. And I won't be meeting and greeting after the show. I apologize, but I will be giving you 110% on stage.
And see the father. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to, break down.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it this week, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah. All right. Love it, man.
All right.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.